Good morning, everyone. If y'all can just let me know in the chat that everything is looking good and sounding good here, that would be helpful because we're out and about today, and I don't have multiple monitors to kind of keep track of the stream and the chat and the trading view. So if you guys could let me know, hopefully everything is streaming okay and there's no jittery. It is not the best internet connection here, but good morning. It's Thursday, June 29th. It is 7 a.m. That's 7:01 a.m. We're here on the 10K to $2 million funding challenge. And Mr. Brooks, Beeswax, Adrian, good morning. Glad you guys are here. Glad you're with us. I don't know how it's going to sound on here. I'm in this big, huge. I'm actually sitting in the tech booth of the big room that they all gather in and do their camp stuff in. I'm here volunteering at my church's student camp. And so I don't know if it's going to be echoey or boomy in here, but this seems to be the best place where I can get a decent internet connection. But I don't know how long we'll be able to stay on today. Mr. Brooks says it's lagging. Yeah, it may be. Good morning, David. I'm watching this on my I've got my iPhone up over here that I'm trying to keep track of the chat, and I can kind of see the video a little bit. It seems to be okay on my iPhone, but good morning, Peter. Welcome in. Hopefully everything's going to be okay. I should be able to stay on at least for an hour today. That'll be 7 a.m. my time here, and then I think people will probably start rolling in here and getting ready, and then I'll probably have to get off. But we'll stay on as long as we can. Haven't taken any trades this week. Cool, nice hearing you. Okay, it seems like it's working okay. That's good news. I'm glad. I was really hoping we would be able to get on at least for a little bit here. It is freezing in this room. They've been pumping the air. You can probably even hear the air conditioning running. I don't know how good I'm just using the mic here on my laptop, so it probably sounds a little different, but there is some kind of like massive fan blowing behind me. You could probably hear it. I don't know. Probably just sounds like white noise, but good morning, Alex. Welcome in. Mr. Brooks, I think you're the only one where it's lagging. Everybody else seems to be okay there. Anyway, glad you guys are here, man. You're loyal. I appreciate the loyalty. Good morning, Michael. Welcome in, buddy. I do appreciate the loyalty and sticking with us. I hope that you guys are learning something here. I've been talking to several of you on Twitter, just in the DMs, and so it seems like everything seems to be going pretty well. A lot of you are beginning to understand that you don't have to take a trade every single day. There is no rush to this. There is no need to just jump into a trade as soon as you get into the charts. You got to learn to fight that pain. Excuse me. You got to learn to fight that fear of missing profits and trying to get into a position right away. So before we jump into the charts, let's just look real quick here at our economic calendar on Thursday. You've got the CPI coming out here. You've got some more Powell testimony. You've got 8:30. You've got GDP unemployment claims for the dollar. And maybe somebody here can help me, because I cannot seem to figure out how to get There's red folder news happening this morning for like euro dollar, pound dollar, any of the dollar news. The euro has news, and you can see it when I open up the news calendar over here. I can see all of the stuff that's supposed to be coming out, but it doesn't show up down here on my TradingView chart. And it does for some, like tomorrow, Friday, it shows some things, but there's stuff happening today, obvious red folder news, and it doesn't show up down here. And I'm wondering if anybody knows out there why I can see it when I click on the calendar, but I can't see it. Well, see, even here now, it takes it off. It doesn't show up in here. But it's obvious that we have final GDP numbers, unemployment claims. It's obvious news. So I don't know how to get that to show up. If anybody can help me on Twitter there, that would be great. Because I would really like to be able to pull that up when it drops instead of going to different windows there. But I'm out here traveling. I've got my position size calculator up. I did not bring my my secondary laptop that I keep my MT5 running on. I just brought my streaming laptop with me. I just didn't have I didn't have enough space to bring all that. So I'm going to be using my phone. If we get into a position, I'll just be using my phone. I've got my position size calculator here on my FX book. It's the one I use if I'm out and about and I need to do a quick calculation for lot size, so we'll be using that if we get into a trade. Good morning, everybody. I see you guys popping in here. Thank you guys for watching. I'm just going to be using my phone here to keep up with the chat, so I may have to scroll a little bit. Oh, good. It seems to be everything is crystal clear, sound and video. Klaus, thank you. Good afternoon to all of my UK, Europe folks. Hope you guys are having a good lunch hour. It is still dark here at 6:08. I'm in Giddings, Texas, which is basically, it's pretty close to Austin, which is about a 3-hour drive from where we currently are down in Houston area. So Sam, good morning. Michael says, I think TradingView is just incomplete with news events. Maybe it is. I don't know when that happened, but I kind of remember that it was always there, and you could even select. I thought you could select, or used to, you should be able to select like what news you wanted to see here. Like if it was going to be high impact news, I thought you would be able to see that, but I guess not. I guess they did away with that at some point. So that kind of stinks, but whatever. Your screen is very zoomed in. I don't know if you want to change that. Let me, you know what that may be? I'm glad you noticed that because I would not have. I may need to adjust. Give me a second here, y'all. Let me see if I can adjust. No. I don't know if this is going to help or not. I probably should have tried to look at this before I tried to do this stream today. I know that's bothering you. Let's see how this looks. Maybe this will look better. I think that looks a little bit better. It is not intentional. This is called rookie streamer mistakes. you guys get to watch me learn on the fly how to do this. This is my first portable stream out and about. I'm not in my office. I'm not in my permanent setup. I was busy all day yesterday with the camp stuff, and so honestly, I didn't have any chance to try to get all this stuff set up before here. So I hope that looks better. I think that looks better. It's fine now. It's a lot better. Good. Okay. All right. So let's get into some charting here. I know my face is really close to. I'm using my laptop camera here, so you get all of the gray hair and the wrinkles that the other camera takes away. You can finally see that I actually do look almost 50 years old. So, euro dollar, we had a dip down. Man, yesterday it just dropped. Our position that we identified yesterday almost came back and got wicked in. You can see on the 30-minute time frame, it almost reached back up into that 30-minute breaker block inside that fair value gap. It didn't quite get high enough. It wouldn't have triggered us in our entry, but it could have obviously just as easily whipped all the way back through there. So we canceled that before the news hit yesterday. Now today, we continued to drop down. Let's just come up here to our higher time frame. We've taken out Monday's low. We've made a new low for the week, and we've just rallied higher so far through the London session. And you can also see pound dollar. We almost completely filled in our fair value gap, and we've rallied higher now off of that as well. I told you yesterday that we were probably going to put in the low of the week here on pound dollar, and it does appear that we may have done that. We could go lower today and tomorrow even further, but it may want to try to come back down here today. I don't know. It just kind of depends on the news that hits. If the dollar's going to get some bullish news, I won't be able to stay on that long. I know I won't be able to be on until the news hits at 8:30. I will probably definitely need to be off there. See, I just don't know why it shows it's got red folder news for tomorrow, and it shows Powell speaking today, but like, I don't know. TradingView's weird. Look at this on dollar though. This is cool. We told you our weekly draw on liquidity was this weekly fair value gap. We expected the dollar to rally up into that. If it wants to push lower, I thought it would happen earlier in the week, but instead it dropped down into our fair value gap, our original fair value gap right here. We had also created another fair value gap inside of this. They both held extremely strong. We rallied all day yesterday, and then today, overnight, especially with London, we dipped into that weekly fair value gap, which we identified as our draw on liquidity for the week for a bullish dollar. If it wants to go lower, it would probably rally up into there, and then it would start dropping away, which it's done overnight now. And so the question becomes, of course, until we really get a violation of this inverted fair value gap and this fair value gap that it created from last week, if it wants to go lower, we're going to see what happens. It could just range here. We could get some news, pop down into here, and just start bouncing between these two. Of course, it could just blow right through this and continue to rally higher. But you can see what an incredible reaction it had off of that specific zone, that weekly fair value gap. So it's now fallen away. We ran buy side liquidity, and now we've displaced through, and you could identify these as breakers. You could identify these as breakers. So any kind of pushback up here, we would anticipate some of that move. On pound, again, Let me jump down here to a lower time frame on pound dollar. So we ran the Asian lows here as London opened, and then we've rallied higher all the way through there. This move started with these up close candles. We rallied into here. There's no fair value gap inside of that. We've now taken buy side, so we have been pretty bearish all week. So we're going to need to be careful here. If we're looking for a long, we're going to want to make sure that this isn't just the liquidity grab, news drops, and we run lower here. Euro has given us a similar setup. We've taken out sell side liquidity here, and we've rallied higher. This move started right here. There is a fair value gap down inside of here. Obviously a large volume imbalance on the euro dollar right here as London opened, popped up, and then it's just kind of been running higher. If you drop down to lower time frames, you can see this as well. Clear run of sell side liquidity, and then we've rallied higher. These up close candles here are the ones that started this move down, and then we displaced through it. It did come back in around 4:30 into that first fair value gap, and it's rallied higher. So I don't know if any of you London people were able to get in on that nice little breaker right there inside that fair value gap off of this breaker block, but that would have been a nice little move up here. I probably would have been, if I was going to use that, I probably would have been targeting this larger fair value gap here as an entry, but it didn't reach down that far. For me, I would now want to see, if we're going to stay bullish, I would want to see a dip into some of these lows here or here, and then a rally higher. That's kind of what I would be anticipating here for the New York session. But that's a nice little breaker right there on the 15-minute. Push up, run liquidity, displace through, fair value gap. That is the system and the strategy that I'm using on this challenge. I'll just mark this out here. I don't have my mouse either, so I'm using just the pad on my laptop, so if it's super loud or clicky when I'm hitting, I apologize for that. But again, you had this run on liquidity. You could use all of these or just the top breaker. You don't have to use all of them. I tend to use all of them, but you could just use the last up close candle before the run on liquidity began. So it starts here, runs that liquidity, and then right here inside of that is your fair value gap. And had you targeted either 50% of the order block or 50% of the fair value gap, I would have had my stop just below the candle. These three candles created the fair value gap. Put your stop below the candle, and then you would have a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio, and you can see it's it hung around here for a little bit, but it's moved off quite nicely. But that's a nice little setup there on euro dollar. Did anybody see that in the chat on euro dollar there this morning and take advantage of that nice little breaker? Did anybody get in that move? Any of my UK folks? 23 people, welcome in. Glad you guys are here. Good morning. Chat's kind of quiet right now. Say hi in the chat. I'd love to know if you're here, and make sure the stream's okay. We're out portable today and tomorrow. These will be shorter streams. I won't be able to stay on super long today or tomorrow, but I will be monitoring the charts off the stream. Hey Deadpool, welcome in, bud. So I'll still be calling trades if we get a setup here, but I Alex was expecting. I could understand that because, quite honestly, you could use this full, these 4 or 3 candles here could be your full breaker, and then you've got obviously this large fair value gap and this volume imbalance. So you could just have taken that. If it were me, and you guys have seen how I trade, I would have probably, Alex, also been expecting, I would have wanted to see it dip down into about 50% of that move right there, which it would be inside this larger fair value gap. But that is a valid trade, just using that top breaker and that fair value gap. Mike Mickey, welcome. I watched it, but I would have wanted it lower too. Look at you guys, man. Look at you guys being patient. I love it. I love it. I love it. Good job. You get your price or you don't get a trade. But that is our system. I think when I get back next week, I'm going to make a YouTube video that just kind of talks through the strategy as new people keep coming in every day and asking about that. And I'm getting a lot of DMs. What's your setup? What's your strategy? It's just easier just to not have to type that out every time. It'd be easier just to have a video. Hey, go watch the video. It's 7 minutes long or whatever, and it'll show you exactly what we do. But hey, Steven, welcome in. Pound. Here we go on the pound. Let's see if we can see what happened overnight here, and if we're going to get any kind of reaction. So you can see we've got a clear run on liquidity here through the Asian lows, and then we've had displacement higher. This move, you could have identified either these 2 candles here, or you could use this large set of candles here that initiated that run. I probably would have used these right here. This run up initiated this run down. Even though it paused right here, this swing started up here. If that's the case, once it displaces through, it didn't give you a good energetic displacement through. It did break structure. It did pull back. There is a small little fair value gap. Let me see if I can show you this. I don't know what this looks like on y'all's chart, but I should be better about zooming in on this. Here is your full breaker right there. And then inside of that, you have this little fair value gap, which is right at the 50%, right around the 50% of that. So once it displaces through here and breaks above, as these 2 candles are closing bullish, I try to identify my fair value gap. I see it right there. This also would have been a pretty nice setup. This would have met a better trade criteria for me personally. Identifying about 50% of my breaker block, the fair value gap sits inside of there, about 50% of that. You would have had a pretty nice sniper entry here. Of course, you would have had to put your stop down here, and your 1 to 2 would have gotten tagged nicely on that trade. So there was an opportunity there on pound dollar as well. So again, we had a clear run of liquidity right here. Sell side liquidity underneath here and here, runs that. After it runs liquidity, it moves away pretty aggressively. This is a pretty aggressive move here through the London. Does break it. Once it breaks and clears this high here, you identify your fair value gap inside your breaker, and there you go. There's a nice little 1 to 2 on the London move there. Michael says, I watched the smaller 2 candles to the right of the breaker. These right here. These are the ones Michael's talking about. and then get the fair value gap lower than what you identified. So down in here. Yeah, and again, Michael, you're not wrong. I just try to, when I think about when liquidity gets run, I'm always trying to identify, and this is kind of the subjective nature of this strategy, one of the subjective natures. It's pretty rule-based, it is pretty simple, but you do have to kind of use your brain and think through and talk through what's happening. And in this case, where did this run on liquidity start? Yes, it did start here, but on a 5-minute time frame, it started here, right? So you could always find a lower set of breakers if you move up to a higher time frame, like on the 30-minute. Look how clean this run is. So to me, I always like to look around the 1 hour and 30-minute to get where's that swing. And look, you can here's your last up close candle. The highest up close candle before that run is actually even right here. This is the highest. See that this swing right here, not this swing, it pushes up higher right here. That 1 hour. So if I use that and I can see this run on liquidity started right here on that swing level, then I can go down to the 30-minute and go, okay, well, now I see this. Now let's drop down to the 15. Okay, yep, very clearly, these 3 candles right here make up that push up before we ran liquidity lower. Don't let these smaller candles on the lower time frames always. It can throw you off sometimes. And the discount, dude, I'm totally with you. Trying to get into a deeper discount and get a better price, always for it. You just have to be content knowing that you're going to get fewer retraces that deep. When you get them, they're going to be fantastic, and they're going to be probably more, you're going to get better stop loss, better entries. You're not going to have to get very much work to get a 1-to-2 or whatever your risk reward ratio is. But you're also going to sit and watch and wait a lot longer. So I like to use the 30-minute time, 1 hour and 30-minute, just to kind of get a clear view on where price actually came from to run liquidity. And then I'll drop down to like the 15-minute and see if there's a clear 1 or 2 candles in there that I can use to really use as an identifier. But hey, Maverick, welcome in. I'm doing well. Hope you're well too. But that's a nice little move there on pound dollar. I like it. I don't think I've said this yet, but welcome in everybody. I'm out portable. I am volunteering at my church's junior high summer camp. There's about 400 junior hires here. This room I'm sitting in is this huge auditorium kind of space, so it may sound a little echoey here. This place stunk like a locker room last night. Just imagine 400 junior hires. My Lord, there was a lot of body odor in here, but it was fun. We had a great night. And I'm actually pretty tired. I did not get a lot of sleep last night. But we're here. We're here. I told you I'd be here. I'm here. I know I can stay on for at least about another 30 minutes here, and then people may start showing up, but we'll stay on as long as we can. So hit that like button if you haven't already. We've got news coming out at 8:30. We've got the final GDP numbers, quarter over quarter. We've got unemployment claims coming out, final GDP price index coming out, and then that's all the real dollar news. Powell is talking this afternoon. No, it says 2:30 a.m. I don't know. Maybe he's not talking today. Whatever. Anyway, I would be very cautious about trying to get into any positions this morning until after 8:30 New York time. We're going to want to see what that news delivers to us before we anticipate any decisions. Man, this dollar move off of that weekly fair value gap is baller. Like, what? I did not expect dollar to pull back as aggressively as it did early this week. I was actually expecting the dollar to push up into that Monday, Tuesday. I thought it would get up in there. I thought it would hit this move Tuesday or Wednesday, but it didn't. And now we're seeing that reaction off of here from that fair value gap. It's really nice. Gold. This is really interesting on gold here because we've been in this downtrend on gold pretty aggressively. We have now taken out, this is an old swing low right here, this red line. This was our draw on liquidity a few days ago, last couple of weeks for gold. We were expecting it to come down and tap into this. It now has pushed up. You can see classic support and resistance here. It has held that and fallen away, taken out swing lows, We have relative equal lows now below us here. It did tap in and into that sell side, and it's moving up pretty aggressively off of that low. And for me, on the hourly time frame, this run on liquidity was initiated here. So I'm on the 30-minute time frame. But here's what's interesting. Something that I am watching and looking at as I got on this morning is you had this swing low. Once price displaced above this high, it creates a new swing low right here. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. It puts in so it comes up, down, dips in lower, takes out yesterday's low already, right here. Dips in again, even a little bit lower, and then we rally away. We close above, we make this new swing low, we come back down, and we push higher. So here is your draw on liquidity on gold. This is now a swing low. There are stops below here off of this move. People that got in long on gold right here are trailing their stops up here. And as it moves forward, you can see it comes back down. This is a 15-minute time frame here. Comes back down, grabs into that, does it at one more time, and now we start moving away. So we've grabbed liquidity underneath this low. Here, that move started here on this candle. Right here. You could take the candle next to it. I like to use the candle with the highest body. But you could use this one as well, either way. But let's just put it right there. Let me turn that into my breaker candle. Now as I'm just letting this play out, you can see we get displacement above. And currently now we have this, whoops. Bear with me, I'm not as coordinated here without a mouse. Takes me a little bit, a few more clicks. Leaves behind a fair value gap. And here we are live in the market. So you've gotten displacement away from this. You've run liquidity, displaced away. It's left behind a nice little fair value gap here. Now, the real caution is that we're in a downtrend. And this is a bullish setup. So you've got to weigh Is gold putting in a bottom here? Are we about to reverse? The dollar seems to be reversing and pulling back away pretty aggressively. So is gold going to reverse? Is it going to pull away? TBD, quite honestly. Michael, you can skip a few clicks. Instead of going to the settings to the box, you click on the button way out to the left of the bar for templates, where the settings button is on to. Cool. I'm realizing my laptop is not plugged in here and it's running out of juice. So I'm gonna need to get my controller or my power supply, and it's over there. And I need to go take a little bathroom break. So give me just a minute, guys. I'm gonna go grab that and take a bathroom break, and I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. Anyway, this is a pretty interesting setup here on gold that I am considering calling out here. If I were looking at it, I would probably want to see a move. How far down would I want it to come? Does it need to fill in that entire fair value gap? Maybe about 50% of that wick. Something like this, and then I would want to have my stop down here. That's a pretty tight stop for gold, quite honestly. $250, maybe just below. Which would line up with these relative equal highs up here. Again, my big caution with this trade, the one thing about this gold setup here that I'm really on the fence about is that we've been in such a bearish, we've been in a downtrend on gold here for, you can see the chart moves from the left to the lower right. So you're basically taking a counter trend trade here, which I do not like to do. So I'm very hesitant about taking that trade. But you can see on the weekly time frame, we have dug into this weekly fair value gap. We've had a break of structure here, right? So we higher high, we dipped up again, and now on the weekly time frame, we've put in a lower low, but we failed to make a higher high. Now we've changed and made a change of structure. We've dipped into this fair value gap here. So question is it done? Does it need to come lower? Does it need to reach down here? If it is, then you're setting yourself up, and this is a bull trap here potentially. So I don't feel like super great about it, but it is it's not a bad setup, and you do have relative equal highs up here, and here that you could expect gold to try to reach up into. If it wants to go lower, it may want to run up into those first. Again, I wouldn't get into any position until after the news. So because you could get news here in about 45 minutes, and this thing could just rip lower. It could gap lower and just miss everything. Like who knows what it could do. So I wouldn't get into any position, but I'm going to go ahead and chart that out, and I'm going to leave it there, and then we'll see after news what happens. Do we get any kind of clear move there? US 30 obviously has some clear buy side targets that it's going to be trying to reach for, I think, today. It's already taken out yesterday's high. It's got Tuesday's high in its sight, and then you've got last week Thursday's high back over here. So all of those, and you still have this fair value gap right here on the 1 hour. It's reached up into it a little bit, but it could dig up into that one more time or two. But it definitely has buy side targets in its sights here. So there's a lot of stuff happening that we're going to keep our eye on. Again, no positions until at the earliest after 8:30. We'll let that 15-minute candle print, and then we'll take a new evaluation and see what we get. It's been really interesting. We have today and tomorrow left. We did call out a trade yesterday. It didn't get triggered in. If we don't get any setups at all today or tomorrow, this will be the first week on my data. This will be the first week in 4 months that no trade setups will have formed, which is also very rare. About, what was it, 3 weeks ago or so, 4 weeks ago, we had a week where we had a setup every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we had like 3 break-even trades in a row, and then on Thursday and Friday we had 2 winners in a row. And now we find ourselves in a week where our setup isn't presenting itself, and this is the true test of being a professional trader. Are you going to sit here and be patient and wait? And if you can, you're going to get paid, and it may be next week. But this week is just a learning week. It's sitting here and watching, and it's proving to yourself that you can sit here and watch the charts and not push the buttons. You don't have to take a trade. You don't have to just get into. You're not missing profits. You're not missing a move. You're not missing anything. All right, I'm guessing in about 15 or 20 minutes here, I'm going to have some people start coming into this room. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to stick around today, but I'll stick around as long as I can. So you can see we had this big move down yesterday on the pound dollar. So you have all of these imbalances that price is currently tapping back up into. So again, if this dollar has reached its target, and now today and Friday we get weakness on the dollar throughout, then you would anticipate a reversal here on pound dollar. And you could, if you look at a higher time frame, this run on liquidity, you do have a little bit of a fair value gap here. Perhaps news drops you down into this area, and then you could use this as a breaker, this fair value gap, potentially. We'll just have to watch and wait. I would be more inclined to want to see a move under here, perhaps with the news, either under this low or this low, and then you get a break in here that gives you a chance to move up higher. Same with euro, perhaps a pullback. It takes out liquidity under here or here, and then you could get a move up. Good morning, Sharp. Welcome in, buddy. US 30, we would want to see, before it just aggressively runs all these stops, potentially get a drop back down in here and then get a run up. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. But let me talk to you about the just the psychology again. We've had no trades this week. No trades. How do you feel about that? How do you feel? Because feelings are what wreck your accounts. Trading off of feelings. You have to trade off of your system. You have to execute your system. You cannot let your emotions dictate your next action. Whether you're in a trade and the trade's in drawdown and you want to close it early because it's in drawdown, or your trade's in profit and you want to close it early because you're afraid to lose profit, or you're not in the market and you're trying to just get into a position so that you can try to make money. You cannot let your emotions dictate your next action. You have to follow your rules. And if your rules say you're only going to trade A+ setups, and you know exactly what your A+ setup is, and you know where it is most likely to happen and when time it's most likely to happen, if it doesn't come there, you don't take a trade. We are in a no time limit challenge. I have my funded account. When I'm ready to take a trade on it, I'll take a trade on it. I'm in a phase 2 challenge. I have to make 5%, and I'm still at 0. I'm in a 100K challenge. I have to make 8%. I'm still at 0, and I'm perfectly fine with that. It does not bother me at all. I did not lose sleep last night fretting over not taking one trade yet this week. Because every day I have convinced myself, and I'm confident in this now, every day I open the charts, my natural inclination is I'm not trading today. The chart has to convince me, the setup has to be there, it has to be screaming at me, you should take this trade. Otherwise, I'm just sitting on my hands. EG, Jack. Yeah, we can look at EG. See what we got here. I'm glad that the stream seems to be doing okay. EG 5 minute. Let's see. You've had a clear run on liquidity here. Started this move, started here. If I'm just analyzing this off of a 5-minute chart, here's your breaker. You have a small little fair value gap that it's already dipped into. You do have a deeper one down here that it hasn't yet. So once this candle closed, you didn't get a really strong aggressive close above here. It did close above here, so technically that would be kind of your setup there. 15-minute fair value gap. Okay, here we go. It's right here. Off of this breaker. Not a bad trade. I like it. We ran a low. We've taken out sell side. We've displaced aggressively above now. So that is not a bad looking setup right there, Jack. I like it. I like it. So for me, I'm not sure what an average stop is on EG. This looks like 6 pips. I don't know what that typically would be, but that's the setup. Not bad. I would put my stop down here below, either at the body of that candle or just below it, but either way, knowing there's a fair value gap a little bit deeper, you could, it doesn't have to get that far back down. And then of course, if it takes out, if it takes out here, this liquidity up here, then you're gonna have to cancel that order. But not a bad looking setup, buddy. The run on liquidity, displacement away, fair value gap left behind. The question is do you get that pullback down into that tiny little fair value gap here? Could be. I mean, it's not crazy. It's a very mechanical system, so I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, I'm glad that you are seeing the way the system works, but I didn't invent this. But it should just be more confirmation to you that you're seeing and understanding the system, and you're understanding the mechanical nature of it, what you need to identify, where your entries would be, where your stops would be, and where your targets would be. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the setup right there. You got your breaker, your fair value gap, your entry, your stop. Let it ride. If you've got your limit order set on that, then you're done. You set an alert and wait. Either you're going to cancel your order when price reaches a certain price objective without giving your entry, or you set an alert at your entry just so you know that you're in the trade. And you're just a spectator. You're enjoying the move at that point. So never had these. It's a Celsius sparkling strawberry lemonade. Actually pretty good. Live Fit. No sugar, no preservatives. Doesn't have the caffeine that I was hoping for, but it's not bad. Euro dollar aggressively running higher, dollar showing a very large amount of weakness off of that weekly fair value gap there. Oh, look at here, US 30 making a dip into sell side liquidity there. Interesting indeed. We still have buy side above. It did tap into take out yesterday's high already, so it could reverse here, but run liquidity, move away. I would be more inclined to think this is a stop run, an aggressive run down, and then you get displacement higher. Celsius are great. Also, Ghost Energies are pretty good. I have never heard of Ghost Energy drinks. And this was the move off of Euro. That little fair value gap off of that top breaker. That is just, it's really nice. I agree with whoever, I think it was Alex. I would have agreed. My order would have probably been right inside that fair value gap of these three candles. So I would have missed that move on that entry, but it did react aggressively off of that first fair value gap in that breaker. Really nice. Really nice to see. You guys in London, man, you got to be taking advantage of some of those London Judas swings and those liquidity grabs. I'm not going to be up with you on those, but it seems this month London has been the session to give the cleanest breaker setups. You guys should be cleaning up on that. On AU, 15-minute. So here you go, coming into London, you get this move up, you run liquidity right here. Again, I'll just keep talking through our setup as many times as I can, but it takes out some of these lows here. Oh, sorry about that. Did it actually take out that low? I don't know that it did. It was 66038. No, it didn't, but close enough. It did take out these lows. Aggressively rallied away. Your breaker is right here. That's not a fair value gap. There is a tiny fair value gap right here. Teeny tiny. That's all you need. Tiny little fair value gap there. Let's see on the 10-minute. Oh my gosh. Y'all. Look at that beauty. And you could have even brought your breaker up here onto the 10-minute. I don't really use the 10-minute, but man, look at this. Is such a beautiful setup. These two candles, run liquidity, displace away, fair value gap right in the freaking middle. Ooh. Gosh dang it. I hate using this laptop pad. I would have had my stop just below the breaker, which also coincides with that candle. You got a 4.5 pip stop, and you hit 1 to 2 after you get triggered in about 30 minutes. Gorgeous trade. Mario, that's a great find. Did you take advantage of that? What a beautiful setup. 10-minute, this swing, this run on liquidity started right here. It's easy to identify. You get aggressive displacement away after it runs liquidity. You have a beautiful fair value gap sitting right inside of that breaker. You put your entry halfway inside either the breaker or the fair value gap. Your stop is sitting below the candle that created the fair value gap. 1 to 2, 4.5 pip stop. Oh man, that is a beautiful setup on Aussie dollar there for the London session. Like you would have seen that. You would have set your order. The only thing that would have kept you from getting in this order is that it ran this buy side liquidity right here first. So maybe that would have kept me out of this order. It runs this buy side liquidity. But gosh, that is a really nice setup. This is why I don't watch all the different pairs. It's just too, like, you can't, even for me, I only want to have 3 or 4 charts open at a time. I don't want to have 10 tabs up here that I'm constantly going, where's the breaker, where's the breaker, where's the breaker? And then you lose track of where you are. I'm fine and perfectly content. I get enough setups, not this week, but typically in a week, I'm very happy with getting 1, 2, 3 setups a week with the 4 pairs that I watch. And so I don't need to just sit there and watch more. So we're into the 8 o'clock hour here now. I'm probably only going to be able to stay on for another 15. As soon as someone starts coming in, I'm going to have to get off. So I'll stay on until that happens. How's everybody's trading week going this week, by the way? How many trades have y'all taken? Because I've taken 0. Absolutely 0. I think news is going to give us a push up here. And that could give us... swap gold for EG. Jack. Is EG that good? Like, I don't know, man. It doesn't really correlate with my dollar, which I use a lot to help me get my bias. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about EG. I don't even know that I've ever taken one trade on EG before. What's the attraction for EG? 0 setups, Michael? Yep, zero trades, exactly. Hey, Non, welcome in, buddy. Good evening to you over there in, I can't remember what part of Asia you're in, but good evening to you. Sharp, I've taken 3 trades up 5% this week. Well done, Sharp. Good job. 2 wins, 2 losses so far. Well, if your risk-reward ratio is good, Nan, you should be well into profit with 2 wins and 2 losses. You should be up 2R on demo. Gold Goblin. What the heck? Ode to thy community. I'm not sure what that means. Are you just saying hello? When dollar pairs consolidate, EG moves. Really? Interesting. Maybe I need to look at that move on US 30 here. We've had a run on liquidity. If this candle could close bullish here, you might have a nice little setup. Again, any setups that form in the next 10 minutes mean absolutely nothing. Do not take them. You have red folder news coming out in 23 minutes. We are not going to do anything because we've got red folder news. So just watch. Don't do anything. You're just chilling out. But that is a nice aggressive move into sell side liquidity here, and we're getting some moves up. This 15-minute candle has a no wick on it, so be very cautious of that as well. But that's very interesting that it would grab sell side, and then we get a run on the buy side there. So, but we got news, so just chill. Nothing to do. I'm hearing some doors open over here, guys, so I don't know. We may be reaching the end this morning. Venator trading out in the wild, so we just we kind of have to adapt to our location here, so we just may not be able to do a super long stream. Good morning, 28 viewers in right now. Welcome, guys. I'm glad you guys are here watching. Any new viewers, we are taking 10K to $2 million in funding. We have a 10K funded account. We've been doing this challenge for 6 weeks, so we've already reached funded status. We've already gotten payouts. We have purchased a 10K, another 10K challenge with our refund, which we've already passed phase 1 on. And with our payout, we've from passing phase 1, we were able to make 8% on our funded account, which gave us enough to purchase a 100K challenge. And we've taken 0 trades this week. We've been here every day. We watch every day, but I'm only trading 1 setup, 1 strategy on this specific challenge. I really do want to show you that you only need 1, and that with extreme patience and discipline, you can get funded, you can stack accounts, you can get payouts. So Knox Beats, I'm new from Zimbabwe. Well, welcome in, buddy. So glad you're here. We have a growing African contingent on the stream and in my DMs, it seems, and on Twitter. I'm getting a lot of followers on Twitter from Africa, so I'm glad you guys are here watching, and I hope it's helpful for you. So dollar dropping back down into this fair value gap from yesterday. So if it's going to push higher, you would expect it to push higher from here. If it's going to whip around now, maybe the news is what whips it around and makes the dollar bullish again. But you can see we broke structure. We came back, pulled in, rebalanced these buy-side inefficiencies here. We broke through, created a new high. We left behind a buy-side imbalance, a fair value gap, inefficiency, whatever you want to call it. It's now reached back down into that. We're about 50% of the way through that, which is typically a zone, if you're a smart money concept or ICT trader, 50% of those moves are where it likes to go. So this could be an area that we see a reversal and it blows back through that weekly, but it could just keep dropping from here. This was our weekly draw on liquidity for the dollar, is to reach back up into this weekly fair value gap right here. Let me zoom in on this. We had identified this on Monday as where we were anticipating the dollar to draw to and then fall away from, which it's Thursday. It took all the way to Thursday to get there, but we did get there. And so now we've had a break of structure. We've had a run on liquidity. We've had displacement away. This run right here started on these two down close candles. There's not a clean fair value gap, but maybe news pushes you back up, which would give you a push down on pound and push down on dollar or euro dollar, potentially push you down on gold as well. So we'll just watch and wait. Bakang. I hope I said that right. Bakang. I'm not sure how. I'm sorry. I'm just my Texan coming out here, y'all. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names, but South Africa. Welcome, Peter. Most of us in Africa started knowing there's trading 1 or 2 years ago. Actually, in Kenya, the licensed broker is just 3 years old. Peter, cool. Africa may be our largest group of traders here. I don't know. Maybe. You didn't get any follow through on that 15-minute candle. US 30. Still got about 15 minutes here until news comes, so we're just chilling. I will stay on again as long as I can, but it's not going to be much longer. I can promise you that. Pound pushing up hard here. As I look at the pound dollar here, even right now, I can tell you there's another nice little trade set up right here. You ran liquidity on this candle right here. That move started off of this breaker block on pound dollar. That at this 410 candle right there. Man, this 10-minute time frame is making me rethink maybe adding it into my consideration. Look at that. Jeez Louise. What a beautiful setup. Runs liquidity, displaces through, fair value gap inside, wicks in with a beautiful sniper entry if you had targeted 50% of that fair value gap. Never in drawdown really, and profits galore. EG's coming back down, might tag me in. Let's watch. Where was that? Look at you. Michael or Jack's got some limit orders set here on EG. I don't trade EG. This is not a setup for me, but we did go through the analysis, and it does look kind of nice. There's a tiny little fair value gap here on the 15-minute that he's targeting as his entry. So good luck to you, buddy. Hopefully it comes down a little bit further for you. know if that's Sachu or Saku. Welcome in. I haven't seen you here before. Thanks for watching. Currently one 10K funded account, one 100K. So I have my 10K funded account. We are on also phase 2 of another 10K challenge, and we are now on phase 1 of a 100K challenge, and we are using our Social Trader Tools trade copier to copy trades from our live funded account onto our 10K phase 2 and our 100K phase 1. So we have 3 accounts that we're managing that all started with one challenge, a 10K challenge that we started about 6 weeks ago now. 5.5, 6 weeks. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but that's where we're at. Sachu. I'm not sure if CH is K or Ch. So Sachu OP. Not sure what that is. I thought I heard doors earlier, but I haven't seen anybody, so we'll stay on here for just a little bit. Mario, on funded account, you risk 1 or 2%. I risk 2% on every account. My trade setup doesn't change. My risk management doesn't change. I trade the way I trade. I don't let the fact that I'm on a funded account, that's trading out of fear. And if you change your risk management because you're afraid to lose a funded account, fear is now the controlling factor in your decision-making process. I trade my system. I trade my data. I don't trade an account. The accounts are just accounts. I don't care what they are. I'm trading my system. And so I do not, and I've said this a lot, I do not recommend, if you don't know your data, if you don't know what your win rate is over at least 100 trades in a live market, you should not be risking 2%. You should be risking less until you know what your data is in a live market. Hey Corey, welcome in, buddy. You're joining us, and I'm about to get off, so you may not have much stream left here today. We have news coming up in about 12 minutes, 11 and a half minutes now, so be cautious. If you're considering trading a dollar pair, be very cautious. Correct, Braveheart. This week, we have taken no trades. We have had 0 setups. But this is how professional traders trade. They are not jumping in unless they see an A+ setup. This is why my win rate is higher than most, and this is why I'm profitable, and this is why I can get funded accounts and stack challenges and get more funding. I'm not taking trades every day. Sachu says, I also have a 10K challenge account right now. I'm thinking to follow your 2 million funded plan. Go for it. In fact, if you're not trying to get maximum funding with whatever firm you're working with, then you're not thinking through this the right way. Your goal should be to get to maximum funding, not just to get and pass a challenge. You should be trying to reach maximum funding with all of these firms. Start with one, max it out, go to another one, do it again. That's where your life is going to change. It's not going to change, well, depending on where you live, a 10K account, 1% on a 10K account, 5% on a 10K account is $500. I know there are, in some parts of the world, $500 is a massive amount of money. And so that could be life-changing for a lot of you. But if you can do it on a 10K account, there's no reason why you can't just stack that, get 100K, stack that, get a 400K, stack that to 2 million. Like, be the king of the world, man. Don't just settle for a 10K account. So yeah, use my plan if you want. Watch my video that I have on YouTube. It lays out exactly step by step how you can get to 2 million in funding with Bespoke. Do you know any prop firms that you can buy $2 million account? No. Bespoke will let you buy up to $2 million in accounts. The largest account they have is a $400,000 account. You can merge those accounts into one $2 million account if you want to. My caution would be this. If you just have one $2 million account that you trade on, your lot sizes are going to be so incredibly large that you're going to get massive slippage on those orders. So I'm actually contemplating even going back and changing my plan that I have right now. I was talking, so one of the owners of Bespoke, I did an interview with Bespoke earlier this week. I think it's coming out next week on their YouTube channel, kind of about what we're doing here with the live stream, and they were kind of excited about just this stream and the idea of starting with a small account and growing it all the way to 2 million. And so cool interview, they were great. But anyway, I was talking with Max, who's one of the owners, and on their side, people get frustrated with them because they'll put in these massive lot sizes and then they'll get slipped. They won't get their exact price. And he's like, even on a live broker, you're never going to get your exact entry if you have massive lot sizes. That's not the way the market works. They're not just going to give you every bit of your position at that exact entry. It's going to get slipped. So if you put in a 50 lot order, it's going to fill it at an average price. So some of your lot might get filled at your entry, but then it's going to collect orders where the liquidity is above that, and wherever that averages out is where they're going to put your 50 lot order in. So I'm rethinking maybe not getting 400K accounts and either just buying a bunch of 50Ks or a bunch of 100Ks and keeping them and just putting all of them on a trade copier, having 10 or 15 100K accounts or something like that, just to keep the lot sizes down and not have to deal with massive slippage on those massive big accounts. So don't just think I've got $2 million account, I can drop a 100 lot on this, and then when you don't get your fill or you get slipped on your entry, you're going to get pissed off and you're going to wonder, oh, the firm's just trying to screw me. It's not the firm's fault. You can't just drop a 100 lot on your exact price and get it filled that way. It doesn't work like that. So I may be reconsidering and just sticking with a 100Ks as the largest account that I have. I don't know. I may talk with them more about that and get their opinions on how that might play out. All right, news here in about 6 minutes. We're currently still good, so I'm going to stick on here for just a little bit longer. Sachi, what are you looking for? Are you your ICT trader? Why are you not trade 1 minute or 5 minute? I'm looking for a breaker block setup, and I'm not looking for anything until this news hits at 8:30 for US dollar. But I'm waiting for breaker block setups. And I don't trade anything below the 5 minute time frame. You should get off those lower time frames. There's no reason to be down there. Professional traders, hedge fund traders, they're not trading the 5 minute time frame. They're not trading the 1 minute time frame. Neither should you. The people who are failing challenges and not reaching payouts, they're on the 1 minute time frame. So get off of it. Did they limit account copy trade? I don't think so. You can copy trade. Social trader, you can, I could have 50 accounts under here. And no, the Bespoke has no limit on how many you can copy. Yeah, 2%. Lot sizes would be bigger. Like even on my 10K account, I have no problem getting the fills I want because I'm sending in usually somewhere between 1 and 2 to 2.5 lots on a 10K account. That's 2% risk. That's $200. Those fills are instant. I get my price. I'm not getting slipped at all. Bespoke's spreads are the best spreads I've seen on any prop firm so far. They're super tight. I get great fills on all of those, so I've had no problem. Blessing, I failed many funded account challenges. Me too, brother. I failed over 30 challenges before I started passing them consistently. Sasha, oh, okay, but if price reached higher time frame zone, I don't know where you're, there was something in it and then it just disappeared. Turner Choppa, me too. Well, I'm glad you're here because you're going to learn here how to pass challenges. You guys stick around, watch, show up every day, learn how a professional trader approaches the market, learn how they patiently wait, learn how they manage everything about this. I promise you, if you sit here and you watch, you're going to learn. If you're failing challenges, stop taking challenges and just watch this and learn how to do this. Then try another challenge. I'm going to be here at least till the end of the year doing this every single day. Braveheart, that's the right way to do it. How clever your logo is. Is it? Is it clever? What's clever about it, Jack? I like my logo. I think it's kind of cool. I'm down. Got a minute and a half here till the news hits, so. I think in higher time frame zone I can take a 1 minute confirmation. Sure you can, Sashu, but you're gonna lose a lot. I would recommend not doing that. There's no reason to, absolutely no reason to be on the 1 minute time frame. You're not a better trader because I get an entry on a 1 minute time frame. You're more like a gambler at that point. You can get beautiful setups and beautiful entries and get way better risk management on the 5 minute. I wouldn't go any lower than 5. It's been 4 years, man, still not rich. Took me 4 years. I've been trading for 4 years. I've only been profitable in the last year, so no biggie, man. Hang in there, don't quit. What lot calculator do you use for gold? I use the FX position size calculator. You just select gold wherever it is. There it is. Put in your stop loss. What is it? 250 pips. Hit calculate, and it tells you exactly what to do. All right, got news here in 20 seconds. Yeah, the arrow for the V and you being a hunter. Yeah. Oh, you mean the A. The arrowhead is the A for Venator. All right, there's news. Let's see. Getting a big drop here on euro dollar. Dollar showing some strength. I haven't seen anything come out over here, but it's obviously very bullish for the dollar. So this could be your move back up on the news that then sends everything lower. This is why I didn't take a gold entry here. It could easily wick us down into that. US 30 running higher here. We've taken out this sell side liquidity right here on the 15-minute time frame and on the 10-minute time frame. Just wicked below here. So if we get some displacement, look at pound dollar ripping lower here. I'm going to take that off because it would have already played out if you were in that other trade. It's taken out sell side liquidity here. The other move here that we need to consider is that this is the buy side run on liquidity, and these now become breakers. Same on euro. You have a run on buy side liquidity here, and you're getting aggressive move away. So we could be getting further downside movement here. I'm wondering why it didn't put any of that. Oh wait, add to calendar? No. It's not what I wanted to do. It's not showing any of the information there, but obviously very bullish for the dollar initially here, reaching back up into this fair value gap. Pound aggressively lower, euro aggressively lower, gold aggressively lower. Again, remember I said gold was in a downtrend, and so I would be very hesitant to take a gold trade there. We're in a downtrend. Sachi, one thing I would say is doing lower risk trading 1 minute. If you have no trade, M1 is smart because you're more likely to get faked out. Yep, Jack, I agree. So I would think of it like max loss for the day. If you take 4 trades per day and your max loss for the day is 2%, then you should risk 0.5% per trade. Yes, if I was going to take multiple trades in a day, I would definitely be dividing my max daily loss up into different positions. So if I identified 2 positions to be in, I would be risking 1% per trade instead of 2. Getting some clear displacement above here, so this is really interesting. There's no fair value gap there, no fair value gap there, no fair value gap there. So I don't have a setup here on US 30. We ran buy side liquidity. If we get displacement lower, this could be an interesting area to target. Pound and euro both displacing lower after grabbing buy side liquidity. We've had a run on liquidity here. You get a run on liquidity, you get displacement away. Where did this move start? It started right here on this candle, your last down close candle. So you're going to wait and see over the next, this candle needs to close, and then you need to get another 15-minute candle to close before you could identify that as a potential move. And on pound, very similar situation. You have a very clear run on liquidity right here. You're getting displacement away. Where did this move start? I would probably use these candles right here as my breaker. And then we'll wait and see what kind of fair value gap develops inside there. Gold, we ran buy side liquidity here. Now you're getting displacement away. And I would probably use these candles here as my breaker candles there. US 30. There's no move. There's nothing in here right now. It's aggressively running buy side liquidity. EG, I don't show it coming down into that fair value gap here on 8 cap. So Jack, unless you had a higher entry. It doesn't show an entry here on EG for me. In fact, it's showing pullback here now. So 1 minute's going to make you overtrade a lot. You don't need a 1 minute entry, Sashu. You don't need a 1 minute entry. There are plenty of good entries on higher time frames that are going to be higher probability. Just back up to a higher time frame. You're going to take fewer trades, but they're going to be better setups. They're going to be more likely to increase your win rate. I promise you. Trust me. We got 30 viewers on right now, so welcome in, guys. Glad you guys are here watching. Hit that like button. I'm going to have to get off here in about 10 minutes, but I'll keep watching the charts. Actually, I'm seeing some people come in the back of the room there now, so I'm probably going to have to wrap it up here. What's up, y'all? Yeah. All right, it looks like we're probably going to have to wrap it right here, but I'm going to be watching Eurodollar, this area right here. Pound dollar, I've got this area right here. Gold, I've got this area right here. And that's what we're watching for. So just stay tuned. Get over on Twitter and follow me over there, guys. I'll be posting any setups that we get on Twitter today. So be sure to follow along. I'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same location. Hopefully internet's still working. We're out in the middle of the country, so who knows. But hopefully everything's still good. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and call it right here. And man, you guys be safe. Be careful out there in the markets today. Know what you're looking for and be patient. Be patient. If we don't take a trade this week, it's perfectly fine. No harm, no foul. Our accounts are good. Everything's still fine. We're still on track to hit 2 million by the end of the year. Keep the long-term perspective in place. All right. So I'm going to get out of here. I got to end the stream down here. That's cool. All of me says goodbye.